You end the call after telling everyone back home, "I'm doing great." You tell them the apartment is beautiful. The city is becoming familiar. You're figuring things out. Then the screen goes dark and your whole body drops. For many Black women abroad, the pressure to prove the move was worth it slowly turns gratitude into silence. You made the right move, so why are you still struggling? Because looking settled and feeling settled are not the same thing. You can love the life you created and still feel lonely inside it. You can be proud that you left and still need somewhere to tell the truth about what it has cost you. Those truths don't cancel each other out. But when admitting the hard parts feels like putting your entire decision on trial, you start performing okay instead. In this video, I'll show you how to recognize that pattern, what it may be costing you, and how to ask for support without defending your decision to leave. Maybe you handled the visa process, found the apartment, learned the transportation system, and answered everyone's questions as though you knew exactly what you were doing. You got the result, you figured it out. You kept the transition moving. Getting the result doesn't tell us what it cost you internally. You can make it look like you knew what you were doing, while privately feeling lost. You can post the beautiful view, talk about everything you appreciate, and leave out the night you cried in the grocery store because nothing felt familiar. You can reach the successful ending while holding your breath, your jaw tight, your shoulders lifted, and your body still braced. That is what I mean by performing okay. The outcome looks settled, but you had to disconnect from your body, your needs, or your honest emotions to keep it looking that way. Calm can be a visible behavior. Peace is an internal experience. And they aren't always the same thing. I'm Tori, a licensed therapist and creator of Soft Landing Circle, where I guide Black women who gave themselves permission to leave and are now learning how to give themselves permission to receive. I also created a free resource called 10 Things Nobody Tells You After Moving Abroad. It names some of the emotional experiences that can catch you off guard after relocation, especially when your new life looks good but doesn't always feel the way you expected it to feel. You can download it using the link below. Now, let's talk about why performing okay can become such an automatic response. The pattern often sounds responsible. I chose this life, so I really shouldn't complain. My family was already worried about me leaving. I don't want to prove them right. And you may genuinely be grateful. You may know the move was right and still prefer the life you have now. But gratitude doesn't cancel out loneliness, grief, or disappointment. The pressure to perform okay often comes from what you fear your struggle will mean. If you admit this has been hard, will people question your judgment? Will they tell you to come back home? Will they treat your pain as proof that leaving was a mistake? So you edit the truth. You share the version of the story where you've already figured it out. The version where you can talk about the hard parts without appearing to need anything. That may have protected you from judgment, pity, or unwanted advice. It may also have helped you stay functional when there was no one nearby you trusted enough to lean on. You felt uncertain, so you performed certainty. You needed support, but asking felt more exposing than handling everything yourself. That strategy makes sense, but something can protect you at first and still become lonely over time. Sometimes what looks like regulation is actually containment. Regulation allows you to notice what's happening inside you and remain connected to yourself. Containment helps you hide what's happening so you can continue functioning. Regulation says, I'm anxious and I can stay present with myself while I take the next step. Containment says, no one can know I'm anxious. I need to get through this and deal with it later. One helps you stay with yourself. The other helps you appear unaffected. and appearing unaffected may have been rewarded for a very long time. People call you strong. They admire how well you adjusted. They call you resilient, and they tell you that you're brave. They say you always figure it out, and you probably do. Being praised for how little support you appear to need can become a very lonely form of success. The problem isn't that you're strong. The problem is that strength may have become the only version of you people are allowed to meet. The quieter cost of performing okay is that people may not know when you need them. They meet you after you've solved the problem. They hear the story after you've made sense of it. They see the finished version after you've cried alone, researched alone, made the decision alone, and carried the uncertainty alone. Then you look around and wonder why no one truly sees you. But they may only have access to the version of you who has everything handled. When no one sees the unresolved version of you, no one gets the opportunity to support her. Performing okay can also make it difficult to recognize your own limits. Instead of asking, what's happening inside me, you begin evaluating yourself from the outside. Did I complete the task? Did I keep everyone reassured? Did I stay composed? Did I make the move look worth it? Did I avoid becoming a burden? But none of those questions tells you whether you feel safe. None of them tells you whether you feel connected. And none of them tells you whether the life you created has room for the real woman living inside it. You did not move abroad just to become more efficient at hiding your needs in a prettier location. Your life abroad shouldn't only look like freedom. It should have enough honesty, connection, and support in it for you to experience freedom. Before we go any further, let's see whether your body already recognizes this pattern. Take a moment and notice how you're sitting right now. You don't need to change anything. Just notice your jaw, your shoulders, and your breath. Are you relaxed, or are you holding yourself together? Now ask yourself, what am I working hard to appear okay about? Don't force an answer. Just notice whether one of these truths feels familiar. I'm lonelier than I've admitted. I'm tired of carrying everything alone. I made the right decision and I still need support. Now take one slower breath, not to make the feeling disappear, just to practice staying connected to yourself while the truth is here. That is regulation, not performing calm, not forcing yourself to feel better. Simply remaining present with yourself while something honest is happening. The woman you're becoming doesn't need to choose between gratitude and honesty. She doesn't have to make her life sound worse than it is, and she doesn't have to make it sound cleaner than it is. She can say, I love my life here and I've been lonely. I made the right decision and I still need support. I'm proud of myself and I'm tired. These aren't contradictions, they're complete truths. You aren't betraying the life you chose by telling the truth about what it requires from you. You're allowing that life to become more honest, connected, and supported. Peace isn't the ability to hide discomfort convincingly. Peace includes knowing that when discomfort appears, you don't have to abandon yourself or perform your way through it alone. Now, within the next 24 hours, I want you to try this exercise. Divide a page into 2 sections. On one side, write what I've been showing. On the other side, write what's actually been true inside me. You may notice that you've been showing confidence while feeling uncertain, or showing independence while quietly wanting support. Don't judge the difference, simply notice it. Then choose one honest sentence that feels safe enough to share with one trustworthy person. Not your entire story, just one sentence that allows someone to meet you before everything is resolved. You might say, I don't regret moving, but I've been carrying more loneliness than I expected. Or, I made the right decision. I don't need advice. I just need someone to listen. You can be honest and still have boundaries. The goal isn't to become vulnerable with everyone. The goal is to recognize the difference between choosing privacy and feeling like you have to hide. Privacy is a choice. Hiding feels like the only safe option. You're allowed to be discerning without disappearing. This distinction can be difficult to make on your own, especially when you've spent years being rewarded for appearing capable. You may not immediately know where healthy privacy ends and where performing okay begins. You may not know whether you're genuinely calm or simply holding everything in until the task is over. And when your move has become part of how other people see you, telling the truth can feel like putting the entire decision on trial. A soft landing call gives you a place to explore what's been feeling heavy without defending your decision to leave or arriving with everything already figured out. You don't have to make the move sound cleaner than it feels. You don't have to minimize what has been difficult. You don't need a perfect explanation for why you feel the way you feel. On a soft landing call, we'll look at what you've been carrying alone, what your composure may be protecting, and what genuine support could look like now. You can book your soft landing call using the link below. You made the right choice. You're still allowed to experience real pain, and you're still allowed to need support because the truth about your life abroad doesn't make the move a mistake. It makes you human.